Welcome to this explainer. Right now we're right in the middle of a massive shift in how software actually gets made. And today we're tackling a really big strategic decision. We're going to unpack the Lovable versus Replit debate to help you figure out the absolute best path for your next AI development project. Right out of the gate, it really all boils down to one fundamental question. If AI can just build an application for you, how much control do you actually want to keep? See, this isn't just a basic feature comparison. It's about figuring out if you want a tool that builds the app for you or one that builds it alongside you. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the core AI philosophy, speed versus developer control, invisible versus explicit architecture, intelligence and team dynamics, deployment security and costs, and finally, wrap things up with a strategic decision framework. Let's dive right into section 1, the core AI philosophy. Basically, the two very distinct paths for building AI-native apps. It genuinely comes down to this massive contrast. Lovable builds for you, while Replit builds with you. With Lovable, the AI is the primary creator. You give it a natural language prompt, and it literally generates the working code. Your job is really just to direct the big picture. But Replit? Replit puts the AI in the passenger seat as your co-pilot. It's a full-blown development environment right in your browser. You write the code, you manage the structure, and the AI is just there to assist you. Moving right along to section 2, speed versus developer control. This is all about balancing incredibly fast onboarding with granular, hands-on control. Look, speed and control aren't just competing features. They represent a strategic spectrum. One path gives you a totally frictionless launch, while the other gives you a familiar workshop where you hold every single tool. Where you choose to land on this spectrum is really going to dictate which platform is right for you. Let's look at how Lovable prioritizes pure speed. The workflow is incredibly fast. Prompt, generate, refine. That's it. You describe what you want, and boom, a functional prototype pops out. You spend your time talking to the AI to refine things, focusing entirely on what you want rather than how to build it. For getting an idea off the ground and validating it quickly, it is a total game changer. Now, contrast that with Replit's workflow, which is heavily focused on control. Code, AI assistance, test, modify, deploy. This is a much more traditional setup. You're picking the language, you're picking the framework. The AI integrates as a super powerful assistant, sure, but you actively construct every single layer. For engineering teams working on really complex, long-term projects, that kind of granularity is absolutely essential. All right, section 3, invisible versus explicit architecture. Let's talk about how the actual foundations of your applications are structured under the hood. Lovable uses what the source material calls an invisible foundation. Think of it like building a house where you just describe the rooms you want and the platform magically pours the concrete and wires the electricity behind the scenes. You don't have to think about deployment, database connections, or API routing at all. The cognitive load just vanishes. But, there's always a catch. This massive abstraction means you build incredibly fast initially, but you risk vendor lock-in. You're essentially trading deep technical freedom for that early momentum. If you need to scale or heavily optimize later on, you're kind of at the mercy of Lovable's own development roadmap. Replit takes the exact opposite approach with explicit foundations. You can literally see and configure everything. The package managers, the database connections, the whole shebang. It definitely demands more time and specialized skill up front, but it means you're building an architecture that you fully own, comprehend, and can scale however you want right from day one. Let's pivot to section 4, intelligence and team dynamics. We're looking at integration layers and collaboration here, because if you're building an AI-native app, the AI intelligence layer literally is your core product. Lovable relies on a unified AI abstraction. The AI is built right into the platform's engine. It's beautifully streamlined, but you do have to play inside their defined lanes. Replit, on the other hand, champions model agnosticism. You want to hook up an external API like Hugging Face? Go for it. You have total sovereign control over your app's intelligence, managing the context windows and prompts yourself. It's harder, for sure, but it gives you total strategic freedom. And naturally, this completely shapes how your team works together. Lovable is amazing for fluid, multidisciplinary collaboration. A product manager and an engineer can sit down, describe a feature, and basically watch it materialize. Replit is built for granular, developer-led synergy. It takes an existing engineering team and just supercharges their efficiency without taking away any of their deep coding tools. Okay, Section 5, Deployment, Security, and Costs. The actual operational reality of taking your product live. With Lovable, you get the seamless one-click deployment. It's a managed black box, which is incredible for keeping your momentum going, but maybe not so great if you have highly custom compliance or security needs. Replit also offers simple hosting, but importantly, it gives you a clear, exportable project. You can take it and deploy it elsewhere if you want, but that means the application security is an explicit, shared responsibility that falls heavily on your team's shoulders. And when we talk about cost, please remember the pricing page is just the tip of the iceberg. Yes, Lovable has a simpler subscription model, while Replit bills for compute, storage, and AI credits, but your true total cost of ownership has to factor in engineering hours, the overhead of managing a custom stack, and the potential flexibility tax of being locked into a vendor. Sometimes the absolute cheapest platform today is simply the one that saves you from having to completely rebuild your app a year from now. All right, let's pull all of this together. Section 6, the strategic decision framework, and how to actually choose the right tool for your project. It really comes down to your specific scenario. If you're rapidly prototyping to validate a market or building a custom chatbot where the AI basically is the user interface, Lovable is a fantastic choice because it completely bypasses all that full stack headache. But if you're building complex logic that needs a traditional backend, or you absolutely require custom integrations and ownership over your codebase, Replit isn't just a preference, it's pretty much a strict requirement. Actually, the source material offers a genuinely brilliant hybrid approach. It suggests use Lovely to prototype and validate user interactions with AI at an astonishing pace. Then, once you've proven the concept, take those learnings and do a structured, scalable production build over in Replit. It's a hugely pragmatic way to leverage the strengths of both platforms across the entire lifespan of your product. Because ultimately, the biggest mistake you can make is viewing this as a simple, easy tool versus hard tool choice. The real trade-off you are making is speed now versus control later. Lovable gives you incredible immediate velocity, while Replit is a serious investment in long-term adaptable architecture. So I'll leave you with this final thought. When you select a platform, you aren't just choosing how to build a piece of software. You are literally choosing what your team will become. Will you become a fluid team where describing intent is the main skill, or a highly technical team of experts supercharged by AI? The best tool is simply the one that aligns with the team you want to build. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this framework helps you make a super informed decision on your next big project.